Hello everyone. In the previous session, we had seen how to create login form without database, and you had gone through three of the controls from Windows Form, that is text box, button, and label. In this session, this complete session is going to be, talk about different controls of Windows Form. We'll take not so many, but we'll take basic controls of, the Windows Form. So let's understand this, that how to do that. So from this session we will understand how to pass one data that is loaded in form 1 to that is going to be forwarded to our form 2. Okay, so it is something like how to pass data from one form to another form. It's something like that. Okay, so for that I need another form to write. So I will take that item, I'll click on my project and I'll say add and new item. You can say Windows Form, and this is going to be my form2.cs. okay, and I will create it. So right now I have form 1 and form 2. okay, both are empty. So let's go to form 1 and make some UI for this. So right now the requirement is I have my first name and last name. On button press, this data, this first name and last name should move to our form 2. So let's create that. So for that I need two labels. So this label is my first name and this label is my last name. I need two text boxes. So I have my text boxes here and I will drag it a little. Okay, then I need a button for this. So all three controls are with me. So button, let's change some of the properties of these controls. So I'm changing the properties of label. I'll change the text property or the label text property. I'll say first name. Okay, then I will say last name for my label 2. Okay, I'll change this button 1 to something called as submit data, and also I'll change the name property of this control so it looks somehow different. So button submit. Okay, and then this label is not important. I think, yeah, it is not important. So I'll change the name property of this text txt, and it is going to be first name. Okay, and then this text box, it is going to be txt and second name, right? Sorry, last name. It's going to be last name, right? So this is our first and last name. Okay, so now UI is completely ready. What else I need? So the thing is, so idea here is when I click on this submit button, this first name and last name should move to my form 2 here in this box. So what exactly I need on this form 2 so that the data coming from form 1 should be captured here? So what exactly the control I should take? So I can take label, right? So I can take two labels. So I'm saying label 1 and label 2. So on these two labels, my data is going to be loaded from form 1. Okay, so this is label 1, label 1. Okay, I'll change the properties of this. Let's say label 1, this is going to be LBL first name, and this is my label 2, so I'll say LBL last name. Okay, on these two controls my data from form 1 comes and sits. Okay, get back to form 1, and now I need some code, right? Backend code for this. So I'll press F7 to get into my coded part. Okay, so what is the logic to move a data from form 1 to form 2? How exactly I can do this? Okay, let's understand this. So I need that data that is to be passed from form 1 to form 2 should be on this button click, right? So I will create the event of this button. So I'll double click on this submit button to create the to generate the click event of this button. Okay, so I'll double click and it will create the button submit click event, and inside this I will write some code. You see what exactly will be the logic? The logic is I have two text boxes. I will put my first name here and last name here. So I need, I cannot pass this text box text property to this form too. I cannot do this. But there is one thing I can do. I can send strings from one form to another form. So what exactly I'm gonna do? I will take, or I will save this text entry or the property into some string. So how exactly I can do? See here, I'll first take two strings. It's going to be static string. Okay, it's going to be static string. You'll understand why I'm taking static. Public and static, and I'll say string f name, that is going to be first name. I'll make it as empty. Okay, and I'll say public static string l name. This is they are the two strings that we had taken for the first name and the last name. So how can I pass this data from text box text property to my f name? It's easy somehow. See what exactly you can do. You can do f name equals to text box, actually it's named txt, first name dot text. So now this text box first name text entry is going to be saved in f name. Okay, it's easy. So the same way I can take it as l name equals to txt last name dot text. Somehow easy. Okay, now what I need to move this f name and l name to this form 2. So for that I need to open form 2, right? On this button click event I need to open that form 2. So how to open that form 2? It's easy. See, you can do something like form 2. It is there in the IntelliSense, so I can call this form 2. I'll say f2 equals to new form 2. You can see this form 2 and this form is basically one class here. So I can create the instance, and I can I can use this instance to do several things. So now I'll do f2 dot show dialog. This means it will open up that form 2 here. So now for the backend purpose of this form 1 is completed. So you'll see when I run this, it will say form first name and last name. So I will say my name is John and my last name is Smith. So when I click this, it should open the form 2. You see, its form is opened, but the data is not yet passed. But you can see on the button click event, I can open the form 2. So this is my form 1, and on the button click event I open the form 2. Okay, that's easy. Now the next task is I want to pass this John and Smith to this label, Let's do this. So I'll close this. Now form 1 is completely done. I will go to my form 2 here and I will press F7 to get into the backend code. Okay, so now when exactly I need that data from form 1 to form 2, what is the event should I create on this form 2? You see, it's easy to understand. See, when I run this, when I click the button event, when I click this button, it pops up the form 2. So on this pop-up, or you can say when this form 2 gets opened, I need this data. So what is the event related to this? I can use something called as form load event. So I go to my form 2 and I will generate form load event. Okay, form load. So whenever form gets loaded, the data is going to be fetched from form 1 to form 2. So I'll generate that. Press F4 and go to the event here and create the entry for form load event. Okay, this is my load event. I double click on this. It will generate the form 2 load event. Okay, and inside this I can pass the data. Okay, so I will write something like lbl first name dot text equals to form 1 dot f name. Now you see here, what is this? This is basically the calling for static class. It is the calling for static class. You already know this static class calling, because static class, we cannot call the static class with the help of any instance. So that's why I haven't take any without static. I haven't take this string as non-static. I had taken static so that I can call this with the help of just by calling the class and then the string. So this is a normal static class calling. So that's why our class and then the data member, or you can say the variable that we had taken. Okay, in this very similar way I will say lbl last name dot text. I hope you understand it. I don't know whether you're understanding or not, but this is the way the way you can pass. Okay, so I need lname here. Oh, sorry, form1 dot lname. Okay, so now data is being fetched up. I can also write something like this. Actually, I should write something like this: your first name is, and then I'll do something like this. Okay, and then I'll say your last name is, and then also I'll do. Okay, so now the things are completely ready here. So when I run this, you'll see. Run this. I will say first name is John and this is Smith, and I click on the submit button. You will see the entry is there with the correct data. So you can see here it's John and Smith on the form 1. When I click the submit button, it opens the form 2 with the data that is passed from form 1 to form 2 here on the form load event, that is John and Smith. I hope you understand it. This is the basic you can say the code that we had seen to pass the data from form 1 to another form. We'll understand another tools or another controls in this session only, in this project only we will understand. So right now we have first name and last name, then we will see how to take something like radio button, checkbox, list box, date time, or all controls that we have there in the toolbox. Okay, I hope you understand it. Thank you for watching me.